What's going on, Trailblazers? Sam here, back at it again for another video. And in today's video, it is that time again with 1.4 literally dropping tomorrow. It's time to do a 1.3 tier list. So let's just jump right in. Now let's start off with the new characters. Daniel Hung. He's Hung. This dude is insane. Easy S tier. Honestly, he's probably the best DPS in the game right now. I would say he has supplanted Sela. He's amazing. You pair him with Ting Yun. He absolutely slaps. Really enjoy this character. I didn't think I was going to get him, but my chat did kind of force me to get him, and I'm very satisfied. Over to little Fu Xuan. Also, easy S tier. Arguably the best preservation character in the game right now. She can single sustain if you pair her with Lynx. She's amazing. I really like this character. I was also fortunate enough to get her. I think she is amazing. I think she opens up a lot of other team comps and possibilities, and I think she's only going to get stronger down the road. Moving over to Blade. Blade is also S tier, one of my favorite characters. He got a little bit better with the release of Lynx, we'll talk about later, but really like this character. He can also kind of solo sustain. You don't really need to worry about him in battle. He can do decent damage even if you're not, building him up with supports. So honestly, a fantastic character. Moving on over to, we'll do Japard. I still think Japard is A tier. He definitely gets knocked down a peg or so because of the release of Fu Xuan, but he's still a really good character. I think if you get him, he can definitely carry you through the early stages. And even if you do have Fu Xuan and you end up maybe losing a 50-50, I still think he's worth building for sure. Clara, I still think Clara is A tier. She's a really solid character. You pair her with March. I just think she has a really good, retaliation attacks. She's really cool. She's really strong. Svarog is king. So I still think she's very viable. And, maybe down the future we'll have more characters that are, beneficial for physical comps. Argentine. But, yeah, I still think she's really solid. We'll move over to Kafka. Love this character. Easy S tier for me. She's fantastic in any team comps that revolve around DOT. The only problem is you do probably need to build Sampo. I would say Luca is good for her. Sural is fine, but we also do have more DOT characters. This one right here coming that I think are going to make her even better. So easily S tier for me, as is Luocha. Still the best healer in the game. Doesn't matter which team you run him with. He makes each team significantly better. He's an amazing character, and I think if he has a rerun and you don't have him and you're struggling to survive, he should definitely be a character that you prioritize. We'll do Bronya. Bronya is probably still, I'm going to say she's high A tier. If you get her light cone and maybe like E1, I think she's easily S tier. She could be S tier. It doesn't really matter. She's just an amazing character. Again, like Luocha, she makes whatever team she's in significantly better. So if you get her, she's cracked. Build her. Yes. Sela, still S tier. I still think she is one of the best DPSs in the game. I do think I'm noticing a trend with Honkai Star Rail characters that it seems like AoE is kind of the direction the game is going. So I just don't know if Sela will sustain long term. Now, she is single target, but the way her kit works, she kind of functions as a AoE character. So she's still phenomenal. Easy S tier. Arguably still the second best DPS in the game. And she's phenomenal. We'll do Jinguan now. Jinguan, always a hot and contested character. I say he is A tier, and he's approaching B tier. If you have E6 Serval, she's almost as good as him, but he is still a limited banner character, and if you build him right, get good relics. If you have his light cone, oh my god. If you have his light cone, he's almost S tier. But he's just not that awe-inspiring in my opinion. If you, like I was saying, if you build him up, he can still clear most of the content in the game. There's a lot of electric weak enemies that he can crush, and he's really cool. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a phenomenal character. Lightning Lord is cool, but I don't love the way he functions. Silverwolf, she is still S tier. Honestly, she is the better version of Bronya in my opinion. I haven't even been using her that much just because I've been focusing on preservation and MOC and survivability, but she is such a phenomenal character. She continues to get better, and I just don't think there's ever going to be a character like Silverwolf that has a similar gimmick. Welt, I love Welt. I don't have Welt. He's probably the character I will get with my selected character. He's fantastic. If you actually pair him with Dan Hong and you use their Wastelander set, it can be some pretty nutty synergies. I just think being able to slow down enemies and kind of alter turn sequences is just such a Pog ability of his. So honestly, uh, he might slide ahead of Bronya for me. I know how good Bronya is and how versatile Bronya is, but um, just a phenomenal character Welt is. Bailu is probably still hanging on into A tier. She is a good healer, obviously. Definitely not as good as Luocha. Fu Xuan is an amazing healer, but I feel like Fu Xuan's self sustain is almost better than Bailu. And honestly, I think Lynx in a lot of situations is better than Bailu. So honestly, we might slide Bailu down to B, and then since I've talked about her several times, I think Lynx is easily A tier. She's a phenomenal healer. She pairs really well with Blady Boy. I love that she has a team-wide cleanse, which is just amazing. Any character like that in a team-based, turn-based game is just Pog. So I do think she kind of moves the needle for healers, and I would think she slides Natasha down to B. Natasha's fine. I just think Lynx is significantly better in every situation. If you have Natasha and you don't have any other healers, obviously build her. But I think if you get Lynx, if you get Luocha, I think Natasha just kind of falls by the wayside at that point. Pella, I still really like Pella. I would say she's easily A tier. I think if you get Eidolons for her, she's really good. Obviously, her burst has really good defense shred, some of the best defense shred in the game. And, her skill can debuff the enemies if they have a, attack buff or anything like that. So I think she's still an amazing character. Serval. So Serval, if you have E6, I say she's, well within A tier. If you don't, she's probably high B tier, but I have her E6, so we're going to say she's, low end A tier. Really solid character. Like I said, I think she can be better than Jinguan in certain instances if you do have her E6. You can pair her with Kafka. She can be your main Electro DPS, but all in all, a solid character. Arlen, does anybody use Arlen? He's super cool. I think his attacks look really cool, but I don't think he functions that well. He is just a way, way, way knockoff version of Blade. So, I mean, he could be B, he could be C, he could be D. It doesn't really matter. If you're an Arlen main, I do apologize. Asta, I think Asta is A tier. She's a very good Harmony character. I really like pairing her with Kafka just because you get the speed and the attack boost. So I really like Asta. I think she'll continue to be a pretty strong Harmony character throughout the entirety of the game. Ting Yun. Ting Yun is awesome. Honestly, Ting Yun could be S tier, but I think we can't put her above Bronya. So she is also really high A tier. Amazing, amazing Harmony character. Her and Dan Hung is just crazy. I finally was able to build my Ting Yun, and my God, she is amazing. I just wish she didn't get aggroed so hard, but c'est la vie. But honestly, Ting Yun is a fantastic Harmony character. If you can get Eidolons for her, she just significantly ramps up her support capabilities. She is on Jing Liu's banner, so if you are going for Jing Liu, pray you get a lot of Ting Yun Eidolons because she is amazing. Herda, again, who really uses Herda? I know you can pair her with Himiko and you can do kind of fun follow-up comps that just smash trash mobs, but all in all, I don't think her scaling is amazing. She can be good early on if you have Eidolons for her, and some of the light cones early on can function well, but all in all, just kind of an underwhelming character. QQ! QQ is really interesting. E6 QQ, A tier. Any other Eidolon? I'm gonna say she's B tier. If you have E6, sure, slide her up in the A tier. In certain instances, E6 can actually out damage Sela, but she's cool. I think I do like her attacks. I think they're visually really appealing, but I just don't like the RNG, and sometimes RNG is really the killer in MOC runs. If you miss one of her abilities, it could be the difference between getting 2 stars and 3 stars. So all in all, a solid character. Like I said, if you have E6 and you build her well and you invest into her, and maybe you don't have Sela, she can easily slide into A tier, or maybe even potentially sneak into S tier if you have a really good light cone for her. Dan Hung, I'd say Danny Boy is solid B tier. Blade is significantly better in any team that needs a wind character. But Blade, or I'm sorry, Dan Hung 4-star Wind is cool. I never really built him because I ended up getting Blade really early on, and that was that. Yang Xing. So Yang Xing is really interesting. With Jing Liu releasing tomorrow, he's definitely going to take a significant downward turn in the ice DPS, but I still think he's pretty solid. I think if you can pair him with Japard, ideally, so he doesn't get hit and he's always has his crit and crit damage boost. I still think he can do really good damage. Obviously, he's not going to be anywhere near Jing Liu. Jing Liu was going to be very high S tier, and honestly, if you get Jing Liu and then you happen to lose a 50-50 get Yang Xing, I don't know if I would build him unless you really like ice teams, but all in all, I think he's a really, really solid character. We're going to use this one for Fire Trailblazer. I'd say easy A tier. Still a really good tank, really good preservation character. Obviously not as good as Japard and nowhere near as good as Fu Xuan, but if you don't have either of them, still a really solid character. Pretty good weakness break for fire-based enemies. So I still think Fire MC kind of holds their own. And then physical, again, very low. I don't know anybody that uses physical Trailblazer. Is just not a very well-rounded character. Luca, I do think Luca can sneak into A tier. Obviously pairs very well with Kafka. But as far as DOT, I just think Sampo is significantly better in most DOT teams. Obviously that can change down the road when we get more DOT-based characters. But I think Luca has some of the coolest attack animations in the game. So maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe he should actually be in B tier, but I think low A tier is fine. Speaking of Sampo, I do think Sampo is A tier as well. He got significantly better with the introduction of Kafka. I think he's going to continue to get better with other DOT characters we have coming and just more DOT-based centric teams. So all in all, really like Sampo. Really think he is a good wind weakness break character. And in fact, I actually prefer him than Dan Hung. That's also probably why I have him in A tier. But all in all, Sampo's cool, and his VA is Pog. Himiko. As far as mommy, she is S tier. As far as character, she is fine. I think if you get her early on, she can definitely carry you. Her follow-up doesn't do great damage, but it does good enough damage to probably get you through most of the game. I'm going to put her high B tier. Maybe I'm hedging a little bit because of Topaz. I know Topaz maybe isn't as exciting as we think, but I still think Topaz will be better than Himiko. And also there's certain situations where like an E6 hook can be better than Himiko. So I don't know. It's just really hard for me to say she is an elite level character. Speaking of hook, she's probably B tier. She's fine. Like I said, in certain instances, E6 can be better than Himiko, but I don't know. I don't think, since she's a 4-star, her scaling's not great. And honestly, I don't think Fire is in a great place right now. Obviously, Topaz is coming out, but I haven't looked at Topaz's kit. But rumors I've heard she's kind of a little bit underwhelming for, a banner character. But we'll also see. This character is going to be amazing for Fire, but I just don't think Fire's in a great spot right now. So we'll put Hook in B. March, I still think March is A tier. Obviously, she's not as great as Japard, but if you pair her with Clara, if you get Eidolons for March, I think she is easily an A tier. So I really like this character. I don't use her much because I got Fu Xuan, but if I didn't have Fu Xuan and I was still really struggling with survivability and preservation, I would definitely slap March into the teams. I also don't have any Eidolons for her, and I've just built too many characters, so she's fallen by the wayside, but I still think she is a very good character. Sushan, I still think Sushan is A tier. Really still probably the star child for physical. Obviously, that's probably going to change in 1.5 with Argenti. Maybe not. I have no idea what he does. Maybe they synergize well together, but she can definitely carry you for the early stages of this game. And there are quite a few enemies that have physical weakness. So I do think she can stand kind of the test of time, honestly. And maybe she'll get better down the road if we get more physical supports. And then Yukong, Yukong E6, again, probably high A tier. But if you don't have Eidolons for her, she's kind of mid in my opinion. Obviously, like I said, if you have E6, which I don't know a lot of people that do, she's easy A tier, but I don't know. As far as, supports and harmony characters are concerned, she's not my favorite. It is nice getting the crit, but the way it works in teams can kind of be cumbersome unless you're really specifically speed tuning, which can be very challenging in this game because speed is hard to get. But that is it. I would say this is a pretty good, accurate representation of my thoughts of the characters thus far. Obviously, Jingy Liu is coming out tomorrow. I already know she's going to be S tier. Topaz, don't really know about. This character, can't remember her name. I think she's going to be really good, but I think this is it. I'm pretty pleased with my tier list. But let me know. Let me know if I'm an idiot. Let me know if I messed up. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I think all the characters in Honkai Star Rail are good enough to, to clear most of the content in the game. But if you really want to 30-star MOC, I definitely think you need to prioritize some of these higher tier characters. But at the end of the day, it's a fun game. And hope you all enjoyed my video. Hope it helps you decide maybe which characters to prioritize in the future. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.